Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the last week of October. And boy, is this going to be intense. So I'm going to start with October 22nd, and I'm going to read all the way through to October 31st. What we can expect during this intense and powerful time in history. I want to say in history. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at where the planets are in the sky and what signs are going through. Remember, I do Vedic astrology. Some of you might be confused. And why do I do that? Because it's the true placements. Astronomically, this is where the planets really are relative to the stars and constellations. So listen up, because this is going to give you what's going on this week. And another thing is, if this is, if this really resonates, because this is what's going on, and it will in your life, remember that you can also have all of this applied to your individual birth chart. And how do you get that? The Galactic Planner. The Galactic Planner is where it takes your chart and all of these transiting planets and applies it to your chart. And all of those transits and what they mean will be delivered into your personal calendar on your phone or computer. You'll want to have this tool. This is a valuable, valuable tool that can help you live your life daily. So go to galacticplanner.com, sign up, and you will be glad you did, because then you'll have this valuable tool of living by the stars, which is meant to help us, the divine science of astrology. So with that, let's begin. Let's dig in and start seeing what October has to offer. The October 22nd, the moon is in Gemini, and it is in the nakshatra called Ardra. And the moon in Gemini is all about communications, getting the word out there. And boy, are we bombarded with the media at this time with the moon in Gemini. And Ardra, though, is a very intense nakshatra. Its actually symbol is a teardrop. And there's sadness in the air at this time. There is so much going on, I can't even tell you. With probably, I'm seeing breakouts of war, attacks, and political insanity. Let me just put it that way. And so on the 22nd, we've got where the Sun and Pluto are exactly in a square to each other. The Sun represents leadership and rulers. So this is a very intense and difficult time, I want to say, while Pluto, the planet of transformation and change and radical big changes, squares the Sun. So this is not good or easy this day. Furthermore, with the moon being in Ardra, that's a difficult day as well. And even when I look to, even recently where we've got Uranus and Neptune in a quincunx to the Sun, this is like heavy duty, difficult things going on. Mars is in Cancer. And this is its debilitation sign. It's really causing an uproar with war and violence, what's going on. We are starting to see the trends of where everything is beginning to go. Now let's look at October 23rd. The moon will be in Gemini half the day, in Cancer the second half of the day. And what I do see is, yes, by Central Standard Time, where I am, by 1:30 the moon will be in Cancer. But what's interesting about this is it will conjunct Mars. So for the most part, on the 23rd, Moon Mars conjunct in Cancer. That is really intense emotionally. Be aware that there's intense emotional issues going on. And by the end of the day, Pluto, by the end of the day late, moon Pluto. This can deal with heavy duty transformational difficulty and changes on this day of the 23rd. But the moon will be in, and so will Mars, in the nakshatra Purnavasu. And Purnavasu does mean return of the light. So something is being revealed, coming out of the light, that is sort of like an awakening. I'm going to say that. So then I am looking at October 24th. And October 24th, the moon will still be in Cancer, in the middle of Cancer. It's bypassed Mars, but it is now in the nakshatra Pusha. And Pusha is one of the most spiritual nakshatras of all. So there is something that's being revealed, coming out, that is of a spiritual nature. It is the nakshatra of nurturing, giving people what they need, being nurtured at this time. It's, I gotta say, there are crazy things happening around the world at this time. But it is a good time to meet with friends, to come together with people, because Jupiter is in the 11th house from the moon. And Venus is in the 5th house from the moon. So find your people, find your friends, come together. It's a time where you're going to need a sense of peace of mind. So find the people that you know you're in agreement with, your people, and this will make this time easier. So now I'm looking at October 25th, and the moon is still in Cancer. It's in the last part of Cancer, and it's in the nakshatra called Aslesha. Aslesha is a very powerful nakshatra. It actually can deal with healing on many levels, but its symbol is a snake. And it does most definitely deal with sneakiness. So be aware of what people are doing and saying to you around this day, because it does deal with intensity, people being undercover, not who they pretend to be. Just be aware. If your intuition is telling you not to trust someone, it's never wrong. Listen to your intuition, your gut feeling. It is correct. Let's move to October 26th. October 26th, the moon will be in Leo. And it's going, and in Leo, it's in the nakshatra called Magha. And Magha is the king. It's the ruler. It's rulership. But it is ruled by Ketu, so there is a lot of undercurrents going on during this moon in Leo. And it has a lot to do with leadership at this time that is weak, very weak. So we know it's the time of the elections, but who's running the country? There is this real deep level of weakness. And if I could say, going back to the time when I said world leaders are in trouble, that could even, during this time, represent the President of the United States. What's going on with that? This is deep. This is difficult. So, going back to the moon being in Magha, there's something about weakness with what's going on globally, because what I am seeing with Mars being in Cancer right now is there are some major problems in the world concerning war and violence. It's all starting to heat up now. For the next 2 to 3 months, you will see what is about to transpire. It's dangerous. Now, I'm looking at October 27th. And the moon is in Leo, but now it's shifted into the nakshatra called Purva Falguni. And Purva Falguni is a nakshatra that can deal with sit back, relax, find a place to and really express yourself. Relax, but it's about self-expression. during the time the moon is in Purva Falguni, we can be more creative during this time. But looking at the 27th, the sun is in a critical place because it is in a quincunx with the nodes, Rahu particularly. But another thing I'm seeing that's important is Mars is actually in a, let's see, no, that's going to be exactly on the 28th. So on the 27th, world leaders, things are getting heated up, really heated up. But use this day to be more creative and express yourself with the moon being in Purva Falguni. And it could be a good day for you to fix up your home, decorate, maybe even look for some property, real estate. It's a good day for all of those activities. Saturn is opposing the moon today, exactly. So it may not be a great day for relationships. You might feel your partner's not around, you feel alone, you feel isolated and separated. Now, October 28th, the moon moves into Virgo. And while it's here in Virgo, it is getting close to K2. This deals with a sense of loss, deep loss around the world, especially today and the next day. But Mars is in a trinal aspect to Neptune. So there can be deep deception. There can be deep denials. The truth is being suppressed a lot. Actually, Mars-Neptune can deal with delusional behavior, so be aware of people being very delusional at this time. And Mars is getting deeper into the sign of Cancer, which is going to cause more disruption, major problems around real estate and property for the next 4, 5, 6 months, actually, with Mars being here. But the moon approaching K2 is indicating a sense of loss. And the moon is in the nakshatra called Uttara Falguni, which is actually a nice nakshatra, but it is ruled by the sun. And the sun is debilitated right now in Libra, so there are problems with world leadership. There's a sense of loss around the world. I'm looking at October 29th, and the moon is in Virgo, and it will cross over in conjunct K2. There is a sense of loss in the world right now. People are having great difficulty with what's in the air. But the moon is in the nakshatra Hasta, which means it's the hand grasping and holding on to things. And this can mean concepts and ideas. So it is a time, a great day for learning, exploring, getting information, reading, because actually today Mercury just entered into Scorpio. And it goes to the 3rd house from the moon, which deals with learning and education. Take some classes, open your mind. It's a day of learning. And with Mars being in Cancer, 11th from the moon, it's not the greatest day for coming together with friends or groups, because people will be more hostile. And heaven knows with these elections coming around, everyone's hostile in some way. It's just things are really getting heated up. But moon with K2, there's something around losses, a deep sense of loss. So now I'm looking at October 30th, and we still have the moon in Virgo for most of the day. Yes, it will be in the nakshatra called Chitra, and Chitra is the bright shining one. So Chitra actually can deal with writing and expression, a lot of things like that, but there's still this deep sense of things aren't right because it's still in the sign with K2, such as dealing with losses, but things are progressively getting better. Yes. I mean today, not with the, well, let me put it this way. It is a time where deeply we feel more spiritual and more connected with our spirit, with our soul. But on the outside world, it's a mess. But the moon is behind the sun. This is like right before the new moon. So during October 30th, it is not a day to start new projects. Hold off till after the new moon, which of course won't take place till around November 1st or 2nd. So during this time from October 30th, with the moon being in the 12th house from the sun, it's very difficult, and it's a time for seclusion, turning inward, and not being outward. So now I'm looking at October 31st, Halloween. I love Halloween. It's a time where we really look into, well, you know what Halloween's really all about? It's the day before All Saints' Day. And so therefore it's said to be the day when the spirit world, the veil is the thinnest, where we're able to communicate with our lost loved ones. That's why, you know, Halloween and November 1st, it's a Day of the Dead in Mexico. I love that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be there and experiencing that. I'm looking forward to it. So it's the day of really talking to our loved ones that have passed on to the other side, the spirit world. And that's why, you know, you have a pumpkin, the whole inside of the pumpkin's carved out, but you put a candle representing the spirit and the soul, and that it's gone, but we're here to reunite with our lost loved ones. So looking at this, the moon is in Libra, so it's come together with the sun. So the next day will be on November 1st, of course, the new moon, which represents a new beginning. Very interesting that that will be on All Saints' Day. And All Saints' Day is all around the world in Christian thought to be connecting to our loved ones that have passed. But today is the very, very dark moon. Go within on Halloween. Connect to your lost loved ones. That's what it's all about. And it's a very spiritual time. It's very, very interesting that the dark moon happens on Halloween. So this can be a time you can get some answers from your loved ones. The moon is going to be in Swati, and so is the sun. And Swati is communications, being able to communicate powerfully, so powerfully with our loved ones. Now, with this new moon, or this is not the new moon yet, but Venus and Mercury are in the second house, which means it is a good time for financial gains. Jupiter's in the 8th house. The 8th house deals with psychic intuition, so this is a day that we can really connect to the other side, but it's also a day of financial gains and money. Mars is in the 10th house from the moon and the sun, which can actually be powerful for business and work. So I can't imagine people doing too much because we're getting really close to these election times. People are going really crazy. But do use this October 31st, Halloween, to connect to the spirit world and use your psychic ability. This is a mystical, spiritual day. So with that, I think I'll close. I have covered the whole month of October, what to expect, and it's getting really, really interesting. You won't want to miss November with me, that is for sure. So we have so much going on. October surprise, we know what it is now. It's all coming down, and the future is about to be so different. Things are going to change. So with that, I'll close. If you would like more information on me, sign up for my free newsletter, join my Patreon, go to galacticcenter.org, and do not forget, you're going to want the Galactic Planner. Go to galacticplanner.com and use astrology for what it was meant to be used for, to guide you daily throughout your life. Thank you.